based on chemical reactions, right? So we all know that when a chemical reactions takes place, certain changes occurs in nature, right? In case of chemical reactions, what happen actually? The nature and identity of the first substances completely changes, and the new substance with different properties are formed, right? So during a chemical changes, certain changes are observed. The first one is change in state, right? Whenever there is change in state, we can say that chemical reaction has taken place. Then takes place change in color, right? Change in temperature, right? As you all know about this from the first chapter already, right? There is increase in temperature as well and evolution of gases. If any of these changes takes place, then we can say that chemical reaction has taken place, right? So, in the first activity, what we will do, we will take a magnesium ribbon, right? This is what? This is known as magnesium ribbon, and it is metallic in nature, right? So, what we will do, first we will rub this magnesium ribbon with sandpaper. Why we will rub it with sandpaper? To remove the basic layer of carbonate from this ribbon. So, what happens actually here, if we will take magnesium ribbon, we will burn it here. Burning in air means what? The metal will be reacting with oxygen of air, right? When this magnesium ribbon will be burning in air, it will be giving you what? Magnesium oxide, right? It will be giving you what? Magnesium oxide. You will be observing that while burning this magnesium ribbon, it will be burning with a white dazzling flame, right? And the color of the oxide will be what? White. The color of the oxide will be what? White. Then what we will do, yes class response, what we will do, we will mix water in this oxide and we will check the pH of the nature of the oxide, right? If the litmus paper turns blue, then we will say that it is a basic oxide. If it will turn red, then we can say that it is a acidic oxide, right? But as we all know already that metallic oxides are basically basic in nature, so, right? So we will prove this with the help of an activity. This is magnesium ribbon. Okay. So in order to remove the basic layer of carbonate, what we will do? We will rub it with a sandpaper. Right. So what we are doing? We are rubbing it with the sandpaper, right? So that the basic layer of carbonate can be removed. Now we will burn it in the burner and we will observe how it will burn. Okay. How it is burning? What is the color of flame? That is dazzling white. Okay. Now we will observe the color of the ash as well. What is the color of the ash?
White.
White. Okay. As we all know that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Why it is called metallic oxide? Because magnesium metal burns in air in the presence of oxygen to give us metallic oxide. Now we will observe the nature of this oxide by mixing it with water and checking the pH of the solution, right? What we will do, we will mix this oxide in water to make a solution of this oxide. So with the help of watch glass, we are mixing it in the beaker, right? It will take some time to get mixed enough. This is red litmus paper, right? So as we all know that litmus paper is made up of which organic material? Organism? Lichen, right? So this is red litmus paper. We will dip this red litmus paper into the solution of this basic oxide to see the nature of the oxide. You can observe that the color of the litmus paper has turned white blue, which indicates that this oxide is basic in nature. Got it? So, from this reaction we can say that chemical reaction has taken place. Now we will demonstrate activity 1.2. What is given here? We will have to make two separate solutions, right? One solution is of lead nitrate. One solution is of lead nitrate, right? Then we will mix a solution of potassium iodide in it. What we will observe that these two solutions are colorless. When we will mix these two solutions, there will be a formation of solution which would be yellow in color along with the formation of precipitate, right? So a compound known as lead iodide will be formed, right? Along with the formation of precipitate, right? And this precipitate will be of yellow color. Got it? So now we will demonstrating this with the help of an activity. This is potassium iodide. We will prepare a solution of potassium iodide in a test tube, right? We will take small amount of potassium iodide in this test tube and we will mix some water in that to make the solution, right? We can tilt the solution as well in order to get it mixed properly. Got it? So this was a solution of potassium iodide. Now we will take lead nitrate in a separate test tube in order to make its solution, right? So this is your lead nitrate. So what I am doing here, I am making a solution of lead nitrate in a test tube. So I have taken a small quantity of lead nitrate in a test tube. I will mix it in water to make a solution. Got it? So this is your lead nitrate. So class, as you can all see that both the solutions are colorless. So what will happen when we will mix it? Let us see. Right? You can observe it, both the solutions are colorless. A bit yellowish but it's colorless, okay? So I am pouring some potassium iodide here and some lead nitrate here. See what happens. The color of both the solution when mixes up changes into yellow along with the formation of precipitate. You see some cloudy formation is there at the bottom of the test tube. It is known as what? Precipitate. Are you all able to observe this?
Yes, sir.
So this is a reaction in which formation of precipitate takes place as well as change in color, right? Which indicate that chemical reaction has taken place. Got it? 1.3, what is given here that we will have to take some amount of zinc granules in a test tube or you can say a beaker. Then we will have to pour small quantity of dilute hydrochloric acid. After pouring the acid, what we will observe that there will be formation of effervescence on the surface of these zinc granules, right? Which indicates that there is what? Evolution of gas. As I already told you, if there will be evolution of gas, then we can conclude that chemical reaction has taken place, right? So the reaction as follows. We will have to take zinc granules, then we will have to add dilute hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid depending upon the availability. Then we will observe that there will be evolution of gas. Which gas will be there? Hydrogen gas. How can we detect the presence of hydrogen gas? As you have studied in chapter 3 that detection of hydrogen gas is done with the help of burning the gas bubbles, right? If a candle flame brought near a gas bubbles of hydrogen gas, it burns with a pop sound, right? Which indicates that there is formation of hydrogen gas. So we will now perform this activity, right? This is a beaker. I am taking a small quantity of zinc granules into it. Are you all able to observe zinc granules?
Yes, sir.
This is your dilute HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, okay? Now we will pour some hydrochloric acid into these zinc granules and let us see what will happen. What is happening there? Can you explain me?
Bubbles.
Bubbles, that is formation of bubbles are taking place, which indicates that gas is evolving. Which gas is evolving here?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen gas. And after some time, you will observe that the surface of the beaker will become warm. That is, there is rise in temperature. So can you tell me the reaction in which temperature is released is known as which reaction? Exothermic reaction. So that is an example of exothermic reaction. That means heat releasing reaction as well as along with the evolution of hydrogen gas, which indicated that chemical reaction has taken place. Got it? Now we will perform one more activity, that is of decomposition reaction. As we all know that decomposition reaction is the reaction in which a compounds break into two or more products, right? And decomposition reaction are of how many types? Three types. What are those? One is thermal decomposition, electrolysis and photodecomposition, which is taking place with the help of sunlight, right? Now we will be taking some amount of ferrous sulfate crystal. What I'll add here for crystal, what is there? There is 7 molecule of water present in this crystal, right? That is what is known as what? Crystals. Right? This is what? Ferrous sulfate crystal. So first, when we will heat this ferrous sulfate crystal, the water will be evaporated, right? And the color of the crystal will be changed. We will observe the color in the experiment itself, right? So the water will be evaporated. 7 molecule of water will be evaporated in the test tube, and we can see in that activity, right? So when we will further heat this, what will happen? There will be formation of what? Ferric oxide, right? That is Fe2 and O3, along with the evolution of sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. These gases will be evolved when we will heat further this ferrous sulfate, right? And there will be a smell of burning sulfur, by which you can detect that there is evolution of sulfur gas, right? Now we will see. This is your ferrous sulfate crystals. Now we will take minute quantity of it into a test tube and we will burn it in a flame, right? So class, this is what? This is your ferrous sulfate crystals. Now we will observe what will happen if we burn the test tube in a flame, right? Let's see. Are you able to observe the change in color? Yes. And evolution of gases as well, or liquid you can say. What happens actually here? The ferrous sulfate crystals have 7 molecule of water present in them in the form of crystallization of water, about which you will be learning in the next chapter of chemistry, right? So what happens actually? First the water molecule is evaporated. Then only what is left behind? Ferrous sulfate, and there is change in color as well. Now we will heat it further and we will observe what kind of smell comes out of the test tube, right? Now smell the test tube. Smell the test tube. What is the nature of the smell? Can anyone tell me? That's of burning sulfur, right? That's of burning sulfur, which indicates that there is evolution of sulfur dioxide as well as sulfur trioxide when the ferrous sulfate is further heated, right? Along with the formation of ferric oxide. Got it? This magnesium we bond with the sandpaper to remove, yes, answer. To remove the layer of carbonate, right? So that it can burn easily. Okay, what is the nature of the oxide after burning this magnesium ribbon? Basic. How did you observe that? What was the color of the flame? Dazzling white, right? In the second activity, what was the color of the solution when we mixed lead nitrate and sodium iodide? Yellow. Formation of what? Precipitate was there, right? It was an example of which reaction? Precipitation reaction, right? In the third experiment, we have taken zinc along with hydrochloric acid. Which gas is evolved here? Hydrogen gas. Was there in rise in temperature or not? Yes, which indicated which reaction? Exothermic reaction, along with the evolution of hydrogen gases, right? In the fourth reaction, we have taken what? Ferrous sulfate crystals. So what happens? We observe the formation of vapors in the test tube, which indicated what? The water has been evaporated, right? Was there change in color?
Yes.
Okay. What was the nature of the gas?
Sodium.
Which gas evolved here?
Sodium.
Is it sodium or sulfur? Sulfur dioxide along with sulfur trioxide. The smell was of burning sulfur. So with this, we are done with our activity. We will perform the next activity in the next classes, right?